Part 73. Hallucinators and believers. Hallucinator is defined as one who is wandering in mind, a person who has hallucinations. Believer is a person who believes. Believe is to accept as true. A believer is also an adherent of a specified religion. Followers of Christianity and Islam are identified as believers, whereas others are unbelievers. Catholics and Christians are believers in the Bible, but before you can believe, you must have evidence to believe in it. To believe without evidence is to hallucinate, meaning to see or hear things that are not present. Refer to the following verses. Most names are entities. Evidences stated point to a single member. Jesus Christ, birth. Simon, 5th of the 4th, 30 CE. Numerous birth dates are presented by many scholars to validate the birth of Jesus. Where is it stated in the Bible? Not one piece of evidence to prove. Then Bible scholars can be identified as hallucinators. They are wandering in mind or hallucinating. Ezekiel 1:1. Now in the 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th of the month, while I was among the captives by the river Sheba, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. 5th of the 4th, 30th C, birth date of Jesus. Now, this is evidence of Jesus' birth. It is to believe or not to believe. If the belief is accepted and verified as true, the believer is right with evidence. If the belief is accepted and verified as false, then the believer is wrong with evidence. Either way, the believer must have evidence to believe. You cannot believe without evidence. Without evidence, he is a hallucinator, an idle dreamer. The Great Bible Fiasco has presented birth of Jesus on page 54. Isaac's birth. Vespasian, 17th of the 11th, 9 CE. Genesis 17:17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, will a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? And will Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? Abraham, 100 years old. Sarah, 90 years old. 17th of the 11th, 9 CE. Isaac, Vespasian birth. Genesis 21:5. And Jehovah visited Sarah as he had said, and Jehovah did to Sarah as he had promised. Abraham, 100 years when Isaac was born. Genesis 17:21. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this appointed time next year. 17th of the 11th, 9 CE. Isaac, Abraham was born. Genesis 21:3. And Abraham called the name of his son, who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. Abraham's son, named Isaac, was Vespasian. Genesis 35:28. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. Isaac lived 180 years. Isaac, Abraham, lived 70 years. Above verses have presented evidence for the birth of Isaac. Genesis 25:26. And after that his brother came forth, and his hand was holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. The member of the Isaac entity was Vespasian. He was 60 years old. From history, Vespasian, born 17th of the 11th, 9 CE, died 23rd of the 6th, 79 CE. Reign 1st of the 7th, 69 to 23rd of the 6th, 79 CE, 10 years. Vespasian was a member of the Isaac entity. He was 60 years old. Genesis 25:21. And Isaac entreated Jehovah for his wife, because she was barren, and Jehovah was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Vespasian was a member of Rebekah and Isaac entities. he created Jesus' entity with two members, Simon and Titus. This analysis of Vespasian as a member of the Isaac entity is sound evidence to prove Isaac was 60 years old when twins were constructed into the Jesus entity. Simon, Moses, 1st of the 10th, 70 CE, to 16th of the 7th, 71 CE. The following verses point to Simon as a member of the Moses entity. Genesis 8:5. And the waters diminished steadily until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. 1st of the 10th, 70 CE, Moses was born. Acts 7:20. At this time, Moses was born and was lovely to God, and he was nurtured 3 months in his father's house. Hebrews 11:23. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents because they saw that the child was lovely, and they did not fear the king's decree. Exodus 2:2. And the woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him 3 months. Numbers 20, verse 1. Then the children of Israel, the whole assembly, came to the wilderness of Zin in the 1st month, and the people stayed at Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. First of the first 71 CE, Moses was taken to Kunduz. First of the 10th 70 CE to first of the first 71 CE, 3 months referred to the time Moses left Israel to the time he was at Kunduz. The ark was there. Exodus 2:3. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him a papyrus basket and plastered it with tar and pitch. And she put the child in it and placed it among the reeds on the bank of the river. Exodus 2:4. And his sisters stood at a distance to find out what would happen to him. Exodus 2:5. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, while her maidens walked alongside the river. And she saw the basket in the midst of the reeds, and sent her female servant, and she brought it to her. Exodus 2:6. And she opened it and saw the child, and there was the boy weeping. And she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Papyrus basket referred to Noah's ark. Child referred to Simon as Moses. Exodus 19:1. In the 3rd month after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on that very day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. First of the 3rd 71 CE, Jews arrived at Mount Sinai, Palatine Hill. Exodus 34:2. And be ready by the morning, and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me, on the top of the mountain. First of the 3rd 71 CE, Vespasian said to Simon to come on top the mountain. Exodus 34:28. And he was there with Jehovah 40 days and 40 nights. He did not eat bread, and he did not drink water. And he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. First of the 3rd 71 CE to 9th of the 4th 71 CE, Simon wrote the last testament, Jewish law. Jeremiah 39:2. In the 11th year of Zedekiah, in the 4th month, the 9th day of the month, a breach was made in the city. 9th of the 4th 71 CE, Simon violated God's law. He wrote Jewish law. Exodus 33:1. Then Jehovah spoke to Moses, "Depart, go up from here, you and the people whom you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, to the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, to your seed I will give it." 11:30 a.m., 15th of the 7th, 71 CE, Vespasian promised to give Simon and Jews the city of Rome. Deuteronomy 34:5. So Moses, the servant of Jehovah, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Jehovah. 12 noon, 15th of the 7th, 71 CE, Simon was crucified. 5 p.m., 15th of the 7th, 71 CE, Moses died. Deuteronomy 34:6. And he buried him in the valley of the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor. But no man knows his burial site to this day. 16th of the 771 C, 1 a.m., Moses was buried at Golgotha Cemetery in the Vatican. Noah, 7th of the 1st 71 C to 15th of the 7th 71 C. Genesis 7:1. Then Jehovah said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, for you alone I have seen to be righteous before me in this generation." 15th of the 1st 71 C, Simon ordered to get into the ark. Genesis 7:6. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came upon the earth. 18th of the 1st 71 C, Noah, Simon, was 41 years old when he went on the ark. Genesis 7:11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that very day, all the springs of the great deep burst open, and the windows of heaven were opened. 17th of the 2nd, 71 C, Noah's ark on way to Rome. Genesis 8:3. And the waters receded steadily from upon the earth. So at the end of 150 days, the waters began to diminish. 1st of the 1070 C to 27th of the 2nd 71 C, Noah's ark arrived in Rome, 150 days. Genesis 8:6. And at the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. 18th of the 1st 71 C to 22nd to 27th of the 2nd 71 C, 40 days. Genesis 8:14. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. 27th of the 2nd 71 C, Noah's ark arrived in Rome. Genesis 8:16. Go forth from the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Get out of the ark, Simon, your wife and 4 sons. Genesis 8:17. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, of all flesh, birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. Romans looted Jewish livestock. Genesis 8:18. So Noah went forth, as well as his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Simon took his wife and 4 sons with him. Genesis 8:19. Every animal, every creeping thing, every bird, everything that moves upon the earth went forth from the ark according to their families. Jews' livestock taken from the ark. Genesis 9:29. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. 15th of the 771 C, Noah, Simon, was 41 years old when he died. Thomas, Jesus. John 20:25. The other disciples therefore said to him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see in his hands the mark of the nails, and put my finger into the mark of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I will by no means believe." Thomas had not seen Jesus. He wants to check his nails and put his hands into Jesus' side. Thomas was looking for evidence to believe. If there is no evidence, he would not believe. John 20:27. Then he said to Thomas, "Bring your finger here and see my hands, and bring your hand and put it into my side, and do not be unbelieving, but believing." Jesus said to Thomas, "Check nails for dirt." He was digging dirt in the cave. "Put your hand into my side, for I am here." You have the evidence to believe, and do not be unbelieving. John 20:28. Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord and my God." Thomas saw dirt on Jesus' nails and felt hair on his body. The 2 clues are evidences to believe it was Jesus. John 20:29. Jesus said to him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed. Jesus said to Thomas that you have the evidence to believe. You must have evidence to believe. Those without evidence are hallucinators. They are seeing and hearing about Jesus without evidence. Over the years, numerous scholars have attempted to uncover the facts about the Bible. No one has reached a timeline as presented in the two books, The Great Bible Fraud and The Great Bible Fiasco. Apart from the 5 characters mentioned, evidence for most Bible characters are presented. The above analysis provides evidences for believers to believe. Whether or not it is true or false, it is to accept as true until proven otherwise. It is from this basis evidence must have real-time, actual place, and literal characters of the events in question. Without these factors, you cannot believe. Bible followers are hallucinators and not believers.